Man, it's been a week since you have seen us. I'm Brad with College SportsCast, and we are presented by the Fanboys.
He should be joining us in a little bit. He's looking for his signal. 5, 4, 3, 2.
I'm back already. All right. So, hey guys, with College Sportscast and Brad, and I've got Jason on with me again tonight, like we did last Tuesday night. What's up, Jason?
Man, what's going on, man? What's going on, man?
Been a crazy week. So I think I mentioned it last Tuesday night when I was wrapping up the show that I was hired on as a staff writer for Stadium Rant. So I have 3 articles up on Stadium Rant, and I'll get to one of them here in a minute. But so over the weekend, I covered Prep Red Zone Tennessee, and that is a showcase football camp. And there was kids from, of course, Tennessee, Kentucky kids, there was Alabama kids, and there was Mississippi kids. And the reason why Alabama and Mississippi were there is because there is not a Prep Red Zone showcase event in Mississippi or Alabama. That's 2 of the states in the South that there's not one currently. So a lot of the kids who are trying to get recognized come up to the one in Tennessee. It was in Murfreesboro, which is 20, 30 minutes outside of Nashville. And had a great, there was over 210, 215 kids there, all the way from class 2023, this year's class, all the way to 2028. So they started out with the young kids and then moved into the high school kids. And it was basically pretty much an all-day thing. And that was on Sunday, which is the reason why you didn't see a show from us on Sunday. And then last Thursday, I actually had to fill in. I run a little business here, Bluegrass Breads, and I had to fill in and do a little extra work Thursday night. So, you know how that goes sometimes.
Hey, life be life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's kind of how it went.
Exactly. I understand that.
Yeah, that's kind of how it went. All right, so I've got that up. So I was talking about Prep Red Zone just for a minute. Jason is in Mississippi. He's not from Mississippi. He's from Arkansas, but played at Mississippi and is in Mississippi. So check out right now. I have a new hot article. I really like this article. I spent some time. I met a lady at the Prep Red Zone camp that brought 2 kids from Mississippi who have kind of had an injury-plagued high school career. One of them tore his meniscus 1 year. Then the next year he broke his fibula. And then his sophomore year was cut short because of COVID. And they had to set out. So he really hasn't had, these kids really haven't had a whole lot of time on the field because of injury and COVID and a few things. And this lady brought these 2 kids up. They are from Gentry High School in Mississippi. Indianola, Mississippi is where they,
Yeah, that's deep. That's deep. That's deep up in the Delta.
That's the Delta.
Yeah, yeah.
Mississippi Delta. So I've got it on the bottom of the screen. Prep Red Zone, Tennessee, the Mississippi Delta Duo. Check out my article. They're from the same team, same high school, Gentry High School in Mississippi. Okay, one's a quarterback and one's a receiver. So check this article out. It's got a little personal touch, and I'm kind of proud of this one. It's probably one of my better works that I've done so far. And if you guys are on here and you're listening, please check this article out. Prep Red Zone, Tennessee, Mississippi Delta Duo. It is on StadiumRant.com. Check it out, Jason. You got to check it out, man.
I will, man.
You're down there. So.
I definitely check that out.
Yeah. So I wanted to get that out of the way to start the show with. And then we're going to go to our true victory stuff. And I'm going to get this up on the screen for you guys. Or at least I think I am. So,
yeah, man, I believe. I think I don't know if they did a survey, but it's a lot of guys from Mississippi who played in the NFL. A lot of guys, man.
So I found out. I mean, he's actually from just on the outskirts, actually, but it's actually the birthplace of B.B. King.
Yeah, Gentry was known for the Twin Towers, if I'm not mistaken. Eric Dampier and Tyrone Washington back at that Mississippi State. When I was in junior college, I recruited that area. Very fertile area. You know, what can I say? They remind you of Texas. Everything's big in the country of Mississippi.
It's deep in the Delta, Mississippi Delta. Mm-hmm. It is the home place of B.B. King. Mm-hmm. So the Delta Blues originated from there. Mm-hmm. Okay, you know. So there is a mention of this in my article. I did some research and did some work on this one. So check it out. I just want everybody to know it and help me share it, get it out there because I think it's good work. And I am trying to help out a couple of kids who are trying to get known. And the reason why I'm trying to help them out is they're actually graduating this week. They're 2023 kids. And this was one of their last chances to come out and be a part of something while still being in high school and trying to get their name out for this fall. I mean, in a few months. So check it out. I'm trying to help out a couple of very well-mannered, athletic as all get out kids. Okay. Just check it out. Like I said, they're fixing to graduate this week. And I mean, they're good kids. Like I think one of them's got like a 3.7 and one's got like a 3.5 or something. I mean, you know, good kids. So, you know, check it out.
That's good. It's good write-up, man. And I'm surprised that they don't have. What did you say? Is it?
Nope. You said Prep Red Zone. They don't have a Prep Red Zone in Mississippi or Alabama right now. They are trying to get one, but so they invite a lot of the Mississippi and Alabama kids up to up to Tennessee, and then Kentucky just added a Prep Red Zone event this year in Louisville, so they actually invite a lot of the Eastern Kentucky kids down to the Tennessee event as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right, so I have True Victory up on the screen. That's our veteran-owned sportswear, and we are trying to get that known and get that out there. The Fanboys promo code will give you 15% off of anything that you purchase with them. All you got to do is scan that QR code on the screen, and it'll take you right to the page. After you do your shopping, go to the promo code, put in the Fanboys, and you'll get 15% off. Anything above $99, you get free shipping. So there's another savings for you. And they also have gift cards. Father's Day is coming up, and they're digital gift cards at that. So what that means is that you don't have to ship nothing, you don't have to do nothing. All you got to do is give them the code and the number, and it's a digital gift card, and they can use that digital gift card and order something from True Victory. Just remind them to use our code, the Fanboys, and save 15%. That's all I ask. Just remind them to use our code, the Fanboys. Right?
Hey, easy as that. Simple as that.
Yep.
Simple as that.
Father's Day's coming up. I mean, get them some gear.
Yeah.
Get them a hat.
Yeah.
You know.
Something.
Yep. Like I said, digital gift card. Don't have to ship nothing, send nothing.
That's crazy. Everything been on these phones. Like you
Yep.
said, digital gift card. Right? That's smart.
Yep.
That's very, very smart.
Yep, absolutely. So check them out. Scan that QR code to the right of the screen there, and it'll take you straight to the online shopping page. And you can shop for men's, women's, or accessories, and shop till you drop.
Hey, we need more women listeners. Shop till they drop.
Yeah.
I don't think men shop till they drop. Now, you
No,
might be one of the ones like to go shop. Me, I like to go and just get out.
The men don't usually shop to the drop. That was just a stupid saying.
Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. All right. So I already talked about it, the Stadium Rant thing, but check out Stadium Rant. I was hired as a staff writer there, so I've got 3 articles up this week that's on Stadium Rant. So check them out. I have 2 of them that are Kentucky football articles, and then I have the Mississippi Delta Duo Prep Red Zone Tennessee article. So far, I have 3 articles up. You can check them out. There's plenty of more articles. There's about 30 or so writers. So there's plenty of stuff to check out, whether it's NBA, NFL, college sports, anything really. So just check it out. And I'm pretty excited. I've got another article kind of up my sleeve from the Prep Red Zone event, and I'm going to be writing it this week sometime as well. So, and I got another idea for another Kentucky article, but I'm not giving that one away just yet.
Nothing wrong with that. Keep it all up there, man. Keep it all up there.
Yeah.
Man. Before you know it, man, I might see you on TV, man. Sideline reporter, man.
I'm working my way there. I'm trying anyway.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
You know how that is.
Man, I do know how that goes.
Yeah, I'm trying to work my way there. So, all right. So we are doing our news and hot topics and fun segment show tonight. I've got Jason on with me. I do want to start out with something that happened over the weekend, and this is a little somber news, but it does affect the sports world in general.
Okay.
And Jim Brown died it was either Thursday, Friday, or over the weekend. I'm not exactly sure. I can't remember what day it was. I've been quite busy. So, but, Jim Brown died. He was 87 years old. He is widely known for his football legacy, mostly with the Cleveland Browns in the NFL. This is what most people know and remember. However, if you are a historian of the game, you would know that Jim Brown is quite possibly one of the top college football players of all time. And on top of that, he lettered at Syracuse in 4 different sports
Man.
at the same time.
At
4.
at the same time.
Yeah. While he was there, his 4 years, he lettered in 4 different sports. Most people don't know this, but he's pretty widely known as probably one of the best collegiate lacrosse players as well.
Hey, man.
Now, lacrosse isn't big in the United States, and a lot of people don't know a whole lot about it. But I'm telling you, if you will look it up, Jim Brown is probably known as one of the top ever collegiate lacrosse players. He was also track and field.
Man.
And, I just wanted to bring him up because he graduated in 56, 4 years at Syracuse. He was, back in them days, he was the Orangeman. You know what I mean? Like he was Syracuse.
He was that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was that.
And it actually, this kind of inspired me to, we're going to do a segment here in a few minutes. And I was doing a little research and I was looking up some stuff on Jim Brown. And while I was looking up some stuff on Jim Brown, I found this article actually from 3 years ago. Okay. This article is an ESPN article. It was written in January of 2020. To be exact, it was written January 13th of 2020. And it lists the 150 greatest players in college football's history.
Man.
Okay?
Yeah.
So while I was doing a little research on Jim Brown, I found this article, and I thought it would be interesting for us to kind of talk about tonight.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the off season. We don't have a lot of game news and all the things going on, so trying to find some hot topics and stuff. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like it's kind of hard to find everything to talk about and stuff. So I thought we might tonight. I thought for our segment, sometimes we do like the pick six and stuff like that. And I thought tonight we will talk about the top 25 players listed in this article.
Uh-oh.
We don't have time to go over 150 players.
No, we don't.
You know what I mean? So I thought we would kind of go over the top 25 players listed in this article. And again, this is an article that was written January 13th, 2020, a little over 3 years ago. And I found this article researching stuff on Jim Brown. So I thought we would kind of go over the top 25 players listed. Are you ready, Jason?
You said college, right? Top college.
Yeah.
Okay.
College football players.
Oh, hey, listen. Are we starting 1 or are we going 20 up?
No, I'm going to start at 25 and work my way. I am. I'm going to start at 25.
Hold on. Oh, I'm with you. Oh, 25. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm going to start at 25.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I'm going to start at 26.
Oh, thank you,
just
thank
for,
you, thank you,
I,
thank you. I'm looking like, oh, you.
yeah,
And
I
really,
know.
he's too low. He's
Actually, I'm going to start at 26 just to get a mention that he's just on the outside of the top 25.
Oh man, that
Okay.
is unbelievable. Oh, that's unbelievable.
All right. So just outside the top 25
No way.
in this ESPN article,
Ain't no way.
at number
Ain't
26
no way.
is Deion Sanders.
Oh, listen. I already see somebody I can replace him with to be in this top 25. But, I didn't write the article. I had nothing to do with the article.
I didn't write the article either.
write
It's
it.
just some talking points.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
Like, it's just some talking points. I thought we'd have a little fun with it.
Mhm.
But I figured when I seen it and I scrolled down to 25,
Mhm.
I thought Jason's going to want me to mention this. So,
Exactly. I was
you know.
like, what? Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
So I had to mention that Deion was 26 on the list.
Yeah.
All right. So at 25, even though he is not someone that a lot of people like to talk about anymore,
but from a college football, from a
college football standpoint,
pure football purist,
number 25 is O.J.
the
Simpson.
juice. There's nothing else to say. The juice was one of a kind.
He played at USC in 67 and 68. Averaged 5 yards a carry, had 33 touchdowns and 3,124 yards. And he took the Trojans to the national championship in 1967 and won the 68 Heisman Trophy.
It's hard to compare anybody to, I know I'm going to skip OJ and Jim Brown. You're talking about two of the most dynamic, well before their time. That's exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well before their time. But OJ, hey.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
Yep.
Love them like them.
I mean,
love them like them or hate them.
Juice got loose if you're talking about, unfortunately, the juice got loose took different meaning.
Exactly.
In the 90s.
Exactly.
But back in the 60s and 70s, that actually meant football.
Man, I'm talking about man.
Yeah. All right, number 24 is actually Davey O'Brien.
The O'Brien Trophy. So that makes sense.
He has a trophy named after him for the top
quarterbacks.
Quarterback each year. He played at TCU from 36 to 38. And they were a passing offense.
Wow.
Had over 2,600 yards. Had over almost 3,500 total yards. And we're talking many, many years ago, way before, but they threw the ball through the air, and Davey O'Brien won a Heisman Trophy. Also led TCU to an 11-0 record and a national championship. Number 23 on the list is Doak Walker.
The Doak Walker Award.
Again, has an award named after him, just like the Davey O'Brien Award, quarterback award. Doak Walker is one of the running back awards that is given to the top running back each year. He played at SMU from 45 to 49. Had 57 rushing touchdowns, almost 3,600 total yards. And, that was towards the end of World War II. I think he missed a little bit of time, had to come back. with the Doak Walker there. So again, he played at SMU from 45 to 49. And just to throw, he was the 48 Heisman Trophy winner. And he also played a little DB and had 5 interceptions. Yeah, so in one season, by the way. All right, so you're going to notice a theme in this list. There's a lot of running backs. Number 22 is Billy Cannon, running back from LSU, 57 to 59. He had almost 1,900 yards, 24 TDs. Also had 7 interceptions. He was one of those dual players in the 50s, 57, 58, 59.
Man.
So he played both sides of the ball, won the 59 Heisman Trophy, and was a 2-time consensus All-American.
Like you say, it's a thing. I'm looking at this. It's a thing. It's a thing.
I'm telling you, when you go down through here, you're going to see a lot of them. Number 21, and I'm going to be honest with you. I looked at this list at first, and I thought we'd start with 20. And then I saw 21, and I was like, man, I can't leave him out. And then I went down to 25, and I saw 26, and I thought, well, hell, I can't leave him out either.
Exactly.
All right. So number 21 is Peyton Manning.
I'm a Manning fan. But
listen,
I don't know if Peyton Manning is one of the top quarterbacks of all time in college. I don't.
He played at Tennessee from 94 to 97. He was the Davy O'Brien Award winner. He won all kinds of the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award, the Maxwell Award. I mean, Peyton Manning won everything but a championship.
That's what I'm saying. And we're talking about pure college player. I will replace, and I'm playing devil's advocate because Peyton Manning is solidified, probably a 3-4 year starter. Broke every record at Tennessee.
11,201 career yards.
Man, that's what I'm saying. Was a phenom, right?
89 touchdowns.
I would throw Tim Tebow right there. I mean, if you're talking about pure college, pure college.
This is supposed to be college now. I'm just putting it out there. So,
but
at number 2,
I can swap him and Dion. That was the only person I was like, you know what? The only person who I could say Dion, because Dion deserves to be a top 10. But there's a lot of people who played the game before Dion.
There is. So the top 10. When we get to the top 10, you'll see some names. Yeah,
some dudes.
All right. So number 20 is another running back from Oklahoma. This is Billy Sims. Played from 1975 to 1979. Had over 3,800 career yards, 7.1 yards per carry, guys.
Picking up, putting them down.
That's insane. That is 7.1 yards per carry. 5 yards a carry is excellent. 7.1 is insane for a running back. Had 50 rushing touchdowns in his career. Played for Barry Switzer. Won the 1978 Heisman Trophy.
That's tough, man. He had a hell of an offensive line. I'm gonna say that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Billy Sims, I'm telling you, he was for Oklahoma. He was one of the great running backs of the game, and probably a lot of people don't research and know. He actually played in the NFL and was a great running back in the NFL until he got hurt. Number 19. This one's a little near and dear to my heart. He is probably the only Tennessee player that I have ever truly loved. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
It's hard not to. That's all I can say. It is hard.
Number 19 is Reggie White,
The
defensive end,
Reggie White.
Tennessee.
Yes.
Yes.
The Reggie White.
Defensive end, Tennessee, 1980 to 1983. He had 293 tackles, 32 sacks in his career at Tennessee. And we're talking about a defensive player, consensus All-American, SEC Player of the Year.
Man, he really changed the game from a
He had
defensive
15
standpoint.
sacks his senior year, had 100 tackles, 72 tackles unassisted out of 100.
Hey, man.
Huh? I mean, that's amazing.
You had to know where he was, and it still did not matter. It's
the minister of defense.
General John.
Remember that.
General John.
Remember that. The minister of defense.
Yeah, he could be top 10. We're gonna keep him moving.
And died way too young from a sudden heart attack. Number 18. This is a running back as well from a long time ago, Glenn Davis, that played for Army, 43 to 46, had 59 touchdowns in his career, and his average yards per carry is 8.3.
I'm gonna go and say it. I'm just gonna say the defensive line wasn't that big, and 8.
Yeah, they probably wasn't in the 40s.
8.3. Oh my god, that's almost 10 yards
8.3
per carry. It's almost 10 yards.
I mean, that's better than Red Grange, and he's like the ghostly figure for running backs in college football.
That's tough.
He was 5'9" and 170 pounds.
Hey, stick of dynamite. That's what I call it. If you're 5,
he won. He was a 3-time consensus All-American and won the 1946 Heisman Trophy. Yeah. All right, number 17 is another well-known running back. This one, this one's Tony Dorsett at number 17.
Mr. Tony Dorsett, like Mr.
Tony Dorsett played for Pittsburgh from 73 to 76. Had 55 career touchdowns, 5.7 yards per carry, over 6,000 yards in his career.
That's tough.
Set a freshman record of 1,586 yards as a freshman. I'm trying to go through some of the Panthers were 12-0 in 1976 and won the national championship. He took Pittsburgh to the national championship in 1976.
Man, that's tough, man. That's tough, man. Oh, that's tough.
Tony D. Number 16 is even tougher. And
Sweetness.
how you think about him in the NFL, he's number 16 on this list, guys. Walter Payton, number 16. 71 to 74, he played for Jackson State. Had 66 touchdowns, 6.1 yards per carry, and had 3,563 yards in his career. He was Time Magazine All-American as a senior while playing for 1AA Jackson State.
Man, he changed the way they looked at HBCU kids. He was one of the forefathers, even though it was quite a few before him. But he brought notoriety to Jackson State. When you heard Sweetness,
1974, his senior year, he actually was 14th on the ballot for the Heisman while playing for HBCUT Division II team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he was 14th on the ballot for the Heisman.
That just let you know. Man.
Number 15, another running back. I'm telling you, this list is loaded with running
I'm
backs.
just going to say the people who wrote this list like running backs. No, I'm going to say love running backs. They like them. They love running backs.
Ernie Davis, Syracuse. He actually come in after Jim Brown. Jim Brown was 56. He's 59 through 61. Had 35 touchdowns. He come in 2 years after Jim Brown graduated, and wore the same number, actually, as Jim Brown. He won the 1961 Heisman Trophy. All right. Here's your first big ugly, Bronco Nagurski.
Man.
Number 14, tackle for Minnesota. He played in 27 through 29.
Hey, I'm going to let you have that one.
He was a tackle, man, and played long, almost 100 years ago now.
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that.
Yeah, almost is getting there. But he's one of them that changed the game. The trophy is the best defensive player every season is actually named after him now. The Bronco Nagurski Trophy is the best defensive player every year.
Okay.
So, again, we had a couple of the running back and the quarterback trophies. The Nagurski Trophy is another for the top defensive player. Doc Blanchard, another running back from Army from 44 to 46, is number 13. He actually played with Glenn Davis at Army.
Ouch.
They were on the same team together. And he's listed as number 13 on the list. He won the 1945 Heisman Trophy.
Man.
And had 3 top 5 Heisman finishes in his career. Was also a 3-time consensus All-American.
Wow.
Number 12 is a defensive end from Pittsburgh. His name is Hugh Green. He actually played from 77 to 1980. Had 49 sacks, 441 tackles in his career. He played for legendary coach Jackie Sherrill. He was a 3-time first-team All-American. In 1980, he won the Maxwell Award for the best player. He also won the Lombardi Award as the best lineman and won the Walter Camp as the nation's most outstanding player.
Wow.
He finished second to South Carolina's George Rogers in the Heisman Trophy voting as a senior. The highest, at the time, it was the highest ever finished by a full-time defensive player.
At the time.
Yeah. It was the highest ever finish for a full-time defensive player. Number 11, Roger Staubach. He played for Navy from 1962 to 1964. Had almost 3,600 passing yards, almost 700 rushing yards. Threw for 35 touchdowns in his career. Won the Maxwell Trophy and the Walter Camp Award again for the best player. And to beat it all, he actually had a tour in Vietnam while he was in the Navy.
Wow.
As well. So
The ultimate.
Yeah, he actually had a tour in the in Vietnam War as well. He joined the Cowboys in 1969 and led them to the Super Bowl 4 times, including victories in 72 and 78. Number 11. All right, we're going to get to number 10. We're going to go to our top 10 players, according to this ESPN article, all time in college football. Again, this article was written in 2020. Okay. Number 10 is Gale Sayers.
That's tough.
Running back from Kansas, 62 to 64, averaged 6.5 yards a carry.
Wow.
Consensus All-American in 63 and 64. He was inducted in the College Football Hall of Fame in 1977.
Wow.
I mean, you can't really argue with Gale Sayers in the top 10, can you?
No, I can't argue not one iota. Can I argue?
Number nine, Barry Sanders, running back, Oklahoma State, 86 to 88. Rushing yards, he had over 3,500 yards, 54 touchdowns. All-purpose yards in one season. In 1988, he had 3,250 all-purpose yards.
That was the year he introduced himself to the world as "I am a dude." I am a dude.
He rushed for 2,628 yards in one season. Y'all hear me?
Man, that's tough.
Y'all hear me? One season, 2,628 yards.
That's tough.
He set 34 NCAA records and won the Heisman Trophy in 1988.
That's tough.
And for my money, I think he's probably the best back I've ever seen.
Kind of hard to argue that. Because he was
I'm just that I've seen with my own eyes. That's what I'm saying.
You talking about in college or when you got to the NFL?
Both. I remember that 88 season, man. I was like 13 or 14. Like, he was something else, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a lot of the person who is the closest to him, to me, in what I've seen, I would say two people. Three people. I'm gonna say one was Ricky Williams. Ricky Williams was he was a Mr. Excitement because every time he got the ball, he could take it all the way.
Yeah.
He's a mixture between a Jim Brown and bigger backs, even a couple backs we about to get into. But I would say Darren McFadden and Reggie Bush. Those
Reggie Bush, if he could have stayed healthy,
I think Reggie was better equipped for the college game because of his size. I think Barry was a little bit more compact and put together like a fire hydrant. I think Reggie Bush was like
that's a really good description, man.
Yeah. I think that Reggie Bush is more like today's Wes Welkers
but man, he could move, man. Sanders, man, that cat could dance, man, on a football field.
That's why I say Reggie. Let's think about what Reggie did now in college.
I know, but I'm telling you, man, I don't know that I have ever seen anybody with the football in their hands that can dance the way that Barry Sanders did.
I'm telling you, Reggie Bush was that. No. I'm sorry. I'm being disrespectful. Marshall Faulk. I used to stay
Marshall Faulk was pretty darn good. Now,
I'll
give you that. Marshall Faulk was pretty good.
You're right. I used to stay up to watch Marshall
Yeah, I
Falk
used
play.
to love. I used to love to watch Marshall Falk.
You're right.
I'm not
you're
even
right,
kidding on
you're
that
right.
one.
You're right.
All right, so number 8 on this list is none other than Dick Butkus,
Kind of hard to argue with that one too.
linebacker, Illinois, 62 to 64, had 374 career tackles, averaged 14 and a half tackles per game in his career.
Ouch.
I mean, hello. Finished third in the Heisman Trophy voting, which was the highest at that time in 1963 when he done it. He was the Big Ten's MVP, two-time All-American at Illinois. Against Ohio State in 63, Butkus had 23 tackles, a school record at the time. In 1985, the trophy awarded to the best linebacker in college football was named in his honor, the Dick Butkus Award. Number 7, a great running back, Earl Campbell.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, go look up some Houston Oilers highlights from the 70s. I mean, had 4,443 yards, 5.8 yards per carry, 40 touchdowns in his career. Won the 1977 Heisman Trophy vote, says in a runaway. Rushed for 1,744 yards that year. That was his senior year. He played for Texas from 74 to 77. Number 6, and this is the one I said that's kind of the ghost of college football a while ago. This is Red Grange. Illinois from 23 to 25, nearly 100 years ago now. Red Grange is his nickname, seriously, was the Galloping Ghost. That was his nickname. In 1924 against Michigan, he took the opening kickoff, 95 yards for a touchdown. In the next 10 minutes, he ran for scores of 67 yards, 56 yards, and 44 yards. So inside 10 minutes, he scored 4 touchdowns against Michigan.
Ouch.
In one game.
Ouch.
He was a 3-time consensus All-American, and he was the very first, the inaugural College Football Hall of Fame class. The very first College Football Hall of Fame player ever inducted. Red Grange. Number 5, Jim Thorpe. He's even older than Red Grange. 7 to 12. And I'm not talking about 2000, y'all. I'm talking about 1900, Jim Thorpe. Jim Thorpe was the Olympian Jim Thorpe. Legendary Olympian Jim Thorpe. That's who I'm talking about here. He was a back. I mean, this is so long ago, they didn't even call it running back. He was just listed as a back. Had 53 touchdowns, 8.4 yards per carry. This is back when they had the leather helmets and the nothing and, all that. He, too, was in the inaugural class of the College Football Hall of Fame. Him and Red Grange together. He was a consensus All-American in 1911 and 1912. But if you look up Jim Thorpe, he's pretty legendary for Olympic stuff as well.
Boy.
Number 4 is running back from Ohio State, Archie Griffin,
Another
72.
another trailblazer in the running back game.
Yep, is Archie Griffin, Ohio State, 72 to 75. His career, he averaged 121 and a half yards per game, 55, almost 5,600 yards, rushed for 27 touchdowns. He was actually born in Ohio State's campus hospital.
Destin.
Yep.
Destin.
1974 Heisman Trophy winner. And repeated in 1975. He was the first ever to repeat, to win 2 Heismans. Okay, number 3, we're going through some running backs here. Number 3 is the legendary Bo Jackson.
Man.
I remember Bo Jackson as well. I know what I said about Barry Sanders, okay? But Lord have mercy. Bo
was one of a kind. Now, he was created in a lab. He was he was sculpted.
Oh my gosh! I mean, he was
molded,
yes,
stretched, injected. Whatever you listen, unreal. Like it was like he was every time he ran the ball. It was like he was.
He had the power and the speed. I mean, now the reason why I said what I said about Barry Sanders is he was just elusive. He could dance on the field and everything. Bo would hit your ass and was gone. That's what Bo did.
Bo was a mixture of the people who are in front of him and who are slightly behind him. He was man, like I said, man, he just was.
I mean,
he's a cheat code. He's a creative player. If you
Tecmo Bowl, he was the cheat code. I don't know if y'all remember that or not, but I used to play the hell out of some Tecmo Bowl when I was a kid, and you could be the Raiders, which had Bo Jackson on it, and he would just
don't forget Marcus Allen. Yeah, Marcus Allen too.
It had 2, yes, had Marcus Allen and Bo Jackson, but Bo Jackson, he would just mow people down in
bouncing
this game.
Off of, they're just bouncing off him. He hit that sideline,
and you couldn't stop him, man. I mean, the Raiders. I'm telling you, man, they were something else on Tecmo Bowl, and it's all because of Bo Jackson. That's why. Well, I mean, listen. I loved me some Marcus Allen too at the same time, but man,
Bo knows.
Bo played at Auburn, 82 to 85. I mean, what can you say? Dual sport. I mean, had it not been for injury, honestly, Bo Jackson maybe would possibly be known as the greatest sports player ever. And that's, I'm not like, I'm putting that above Michael Jordan and everything. If it had it not been for injury, he had a hip and injury that was massive and crushed his hip. And at the time, it's hard to fix all that. And he had, it just totally affected him. He wound up having to retire from football, tried to keep playing baseball, but even the swing and the hip action for the swing in baseball, I mean, he still had power because he was built like a brick house, but, he did play baseball for maybe 2 or 3 more years. but he had to hang that up pretty early too. So,
Bo was one of them.
all right, number 2, another monster running back from Georgia, Herschel Walker. That's number 2 on this list.
Man,
Herschel Walker, 1980 to 1982. Herschel Walker ran for 5,259 yards, 52 touchdowns. He averaged, y'all, 159.4 yards per game.
that's tough, man. That's
Per game.
that's something you can put that in the stat sheets. He is gonna give you $150 on average. Man, that's man. He had that power too. He had that power. He had that sneaky speed that you really didn't think he was running until you looked at those feet.
Oh, he could run over. He was a Mack truck.
Man, he's scooting away and he will run through your face.
And built like a brick house too, man. Yeah. Both of them. He's got number 2 and number 3. I mean, I remember both of them. They were damn near unstoppable in their prime.
Man, hey, you had to crowd the line. You had to crowd the line.
I mean, 8 in a box. Stop. Yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? Seriously.
Yeah.
Maybe 9 back then.
Yes.
In the 80s and 90s. They might have loaded up 9 in the box back then.
Man, they loaded the box. And it still didn't matter sometimes.
No, it was, and I have to say, man, this top 10, you was talking about Dion. I'm sorry, Dion can't crack this top 10, man. This top 10's solid. Now,
well, I'm just gonna say from what I can see. I didn't see all of these great men play.
Well, I mean, I didn't see some of these 100-year-old guys. I didn't see.
But I'm looking at, you only got one. It's in the top 10, and we say what? Defense wins championships, right? So you mean tell me 1, 2, and I'm being very critical. In the top 10, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have 8 running backs in the top 10. Come on now. Reggie White could have been in the top 10.
I would have to, maybe Reggie White, yeah.
But there's no other cornerback listed.
Nope.
No, in the top
there's no cornerback in the top 25. You got Dion at 26.
Dion played the position so well that it needs to be the Deion Sanders Award because he think about it, dual sport athlete.
He was
track, football,
baseball,
and baseball.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? So hey, and probably could have been if fishing was in, he'd be a hell of an angler. So it's like, man, like Deion. Now he might not be able to crack the top 10. Okay. But at least the top 15.
All right, y'all. The suspense is killing me. Have y'all figured out who number 1 is yet?
Not the suspense. Not the suspense.
It's killing me. I gotta know, man.
Yeah.
Who's number 1, guys? Who do you think? The legendary Jim Brown is number 1 on this list. And like I said, I was looking up Jim Brown stuff, and that's how I found this list. I was looking up stuff on ESPN. And number 1 is Jim Brown. Played at Syracuse from 54 to 56.
Yeah.
Had almost 2,100 yards in 2 seasons, 26 TDs. Also played defense and had 8 interceptions.
Kind of hard to argue with that one as well.
First team unanimous All-American, led the Orange to the Cotton Bowl in 1956. He also was the Syracuse place kicker on the same damn team and scored 43 points as the kicker on the team.
He did it all.
Yeah. I mean, he literally done it all. He played basketball, football, track, and lacrosse. Like I said, lettered in 4 sports while he was there. Played for the Cleveland Browns for 8 years and was damn near unstoppable in the NFL. And at the age of 30, he just retired and hung it up. Never went back. Became an activist, actually.
He did.
Became a actor and an activist, and retired from the game of football at the age of 30. Walked away from a legendary career that, I mean, back then he could have played at least another 5, 6 years, but walked away from his career at the age of 30, kind of similar to what Barry Sanders did, by the way. I was talking about Barry Sanders. I think Sanders was about 31 when he walked away from the game and played about 8 or 9 years, something like that, with the Detroit Lions. And anyway, those two both kind of done the same thing, very similar, walking away from the game. And Barry's kind of lived a quiet life. Now, Jim Brown became an activist and helped a lot of different areas, and was pretty well known in a lot of circles, especially in the black community. So,
no doubt, no doubt. No
yeah,
doubt.
I mean, just to say it. So, I mean,
Well,
that's
was a voice for the voiceless, was a martyr for change, spoke his mind, stood on the front line,
absolutely.
and wanted equal and wanted things to change. And some people didn't like his approach, but anybody who is up against what they're up against is not going to like someone who is trying to invoke change and for the betterment of black people, of course. But at the end of the day, it was a picture that I saw that it was him, Bill Russell, Muhammad Ali. It was a lot of them. And I think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is still the only one still alive from that picture.
Yeah, Kareem later, was in that activist group too, kind of that you're talking about. That there was a few of them that were all athletes that kind of joined together there, and Kareem was one of them.
Exactly. So, man, hey, hats off to Jim Brown for everything he stood for, that he tried to do, and like you said, like you led off with it. Um, you hate to see a guy like that go, but he lived an incredible life, left his mark on the world, and like I said, was an advocate for change. So rest in peace, Mr. Jim Brown, and the number one college football player of all time. Once again, I didn't write it.
I didn't write it either, and I just was doing some research, and I thought it'd be a cool something to talk about on the show for us and stuff, So I wanted to put that up and us have a little conversation here with just talking about it. So, but we'll move on. I'm going to let Howie Fresh here talk about his Fresh channel here real quick. I'll get that up on the screen. We are featured on his channel on Sundays when we do our Sunday shows. This past Sunday we didn't, and the Sunday before that was Mother's Day, so we didn't do one then as well. But when we have our Sunday show featured on his channel on Sundays, and I'm going to let Howie talk here for you guys.
Hey, I am Hal Fresh here to tell you about the Real Fresh channel. That's right, youtube.com/the Real Fresh channel. We are a network aiming to bringing you various content each and every day. Different types of podcasts, different type of content. Anything from college sportcast and fresh takes for some sports. We also got You Want to Do What? We got the Wrestling Corner. We got live stream. Just go over to youtube.com/The Real Fresh Channel and hit us up today. Thank you for checking it out. Appreciate your time.
And he's back. Not quite yet.
All right, guys, that was Howie Fresh, and we appreciate him. He is part of our Defan Boys team, and get him a little bit of airtime there and talk about the Real Fresh channel. So, all right, then I'm going to move from that and go to our College Podcast swag page. If I can get all this stuff to work. There we go. So our official merch page is now up on the screen. If you're watching and want to order our official merch, you can go to that QR code, scan that code, and also when you get done shopping while you are watching with us, use our code WATCHCSCAST for a 15% discount and check out some of our official merch from College SportsCast. We would appreciate that. So I want to ask you, how'd your AAU tournament go this past weekend? Did you have one, or did you just have practice?
This past weekend, we couldn't get the guys in town for practice, but I had a field day at the school that my feet were on fire from. And then my kids had, my son had a football 7-on-7 game. My daughter had track that day. And so when my son got through playing his 7-on-7 game, we rushed across town to make it to the track meet. So I was at the track field until about 5, 6 p.m. and finally made it home and took a shower. And I didn't move for a day and a half.
So you didn't have AAU practice this weekend?
We was planning on it, but we couldn't get the guys.
Yeah.
We actually have a tournament in Memphis this weekend, the third session.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll move on to some college basketball news. There's not a whole lot to talk about. I do want to mention to you that Calbert Chaney is returning to Indiana to work in the player development role.
Saw that.
Calbert Chaney is. He was early 90s. I'm pretty sure he graduated the year I graduated high school. He graduated from Indiana. That would have been 1993. So that would put him about 4 years older than me. But I'm pretty sure he played till 1993 at Indiana. And I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, he may be one of the best players that's ever played at Indiana. And they had some good ones in the 70s. They had Steve Alford in the 80s.
Okay.
Keith Smart, that team.
Okay.
They also had Isaiah Thomas in 80 and 81, but Isaiah was only there 2 years. But was one of the better players, won a national championship for them. Calbert Chaney was short on the national championship. So Steve Alford and May and all them and Isaiah Thomas and all the other ones that we mentioned won national championships, really. And Calbert Chaney was short on that. But I'm telling you, the kid was a player. And he could flat fill it up. Calbert Chaney could. It was a big rivalry with Kentucky, and I can remember just how tough he was. He was a tough ass player, and he's returning to Indiana in the player development role. Miami coach Larry. Well, I can't. How you say his last name? Larry.
I'm not gonna. You know me in names. I'm not gonna butcher.
I don't know.
Coach L.
Anyway,
Coach L.
he signed a 1 year extension. The Miami coach, he signed an extension. Some sad news for UK fans today. Cotton Nash died today. He was 80 years old. Cotton Nash was the all-time leading scorer at one time at UK. He graduated in 1964 with almost 1,700 and some, almost 1,800 points in 1964, and was a two-sport star as well at the time, and a legend for basketball. To be honest with you, he was born here in Kentucky, lived here in Kentucky all of his life. And he was actually my dad's favorite player growing up.
Wow.
So that's, I mean, my dad would have been like about 11 to 14 when Cotton Nash played at Kentucky. So you can imagine as a kid, when you're a big basketball fan, those are the years, that you can kind of remember your favorite players, those like 11 to 14 years. So that was actually my dad's favorite player. He actually is one of only 13 players to ever play in the NBA and Major League Baseball.
Wow.
Cotton Nash.
Cotton Nash.
There's only been 13 players to ever do that, to play in the NBA and Major League Baseball. Cotton Nash is one of those. So the big guy from Alabama, I can't Bedlick.
The guy who's staying in the draft. I'm trying to think. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah. The sources are saying he's going to stay in the draft. He's not coming back to Alabama. That he's going to stay in the draft. So that kind of gives you just a little bit of news on the college basketball front. There's really not a lot going on. There's still people deciding on the transfer portal, and the NBA deadline to return to school is May 31st. So we are about a week away, a little over 8 days away from that deadline. So we'll be getting some return news or some they're staying and not returning news pretty soon on that front. So that kind of gives you a little bit on college basketball world. And then we'll move on to college baseball real quick. So college baseball's in a conference championship tourneys this week and this weekend. The SEC starts today. So South Carolina beat Georgia 9-0 in the SEC today, which is not a surprise. South Carolina, Georgia snuck in as the 12th team, I believe. This is kind of surprise. Texas A&M beat number 13 Tennessee today in the SEC tournament. It is a double nation tournament for baseball, so you go to the losers bracket. So they're not completely out, but that's kind of a shocker, really, for Tennessee to lose in the opening day. Number 24 beat Kentucky today, 4-0. Number 24 Alabama, that is, beat Kentucky today in the tournament, so they'll go to the losers bracket as well, which is not a good sign. Might be playing Tennessee. I'm not real sure.
Yeah.
That might be who they're matching up with now. Because, like I said, the baseball is a double elimination tournament. So, and then Missouri and Auburn are playing right now, but it's just the bottom of the first inning, no score. So, that's who's playing right now. In the ACC, you got NC State and Duke 7-5. Boston College beat Virginia Tech 11-7 today. North Carolina beat Georgia Tech 11-5 today in their tournament. In the ACC, so all the conference tournaments, Big Ten's going on right now. It's a pretty big weekend. Kentucky was actually in line, if they could win, to maybe host a series, but in the region. But with a loss today, they probably won't. But anyway, Tennessee is a big loss today as well. They were ranked 13th in the country. Actually, they were preseason top 5. Tennessee was top. I want to say preseason they were ranked 2 in most polls. So that's a big loss for them. Alabama rebounding. Actually, Kentucky swept Alabama in the series in the regular season and then lose today. So that's how it goes in baseball.
Boy, that's how it goes in baseball.
Well, I mean, that's how it goes in life, really, sometimes. But, so baseball, it's all about pitching and who's got the hot bat that day and that kind of stuff. So, starting this week, starting next weekend, will be the region rounds for the baseball tournament. And, you will get down to the super region and then the College Series. And it's all going to go on between now and the end of June. And the College World Series winner, it will be crowned sometime around the very last weekend of June, right before July and the 4th. It doesn't go into July. It's kind of right at the end of June when they do that. All right, so I have a College SportsCast official swag page, merch page up on the screen there. You can scan that code, that QR code, and go straight to our page and do a little shopping. If you want some merch from us while you're shopping, when you go to the checkout, put in our code WatchCSCast for a 15% discount code. And I have that up there for you. Tried to switch and get a few different things on the screen here for you guys. If I can get this stuff to scroll. All right, so again, we are on WSBN TV on Tuesday and Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Central, and on Sunday, we are also on at 3 p.m. Central. Like I said, the last couple of Sundays we have been off for Mother's Day, and then last weekend I covered the Prep Red Zone event. So we're not on Sunday, but as far as I know, we'll be back on this week doing our regular shows. The baseball tournament's going to heat up this weekend, and we might do a little talk on the baseball tournament Thursday and Sunday. And especially the SEC. We might talk a little bit around the country as well. But you can catch us on WSBN TV Channel 30. Download the BoxCast app. Once you do that, guys, you can catch us on Apple TV, Roku, Fire TV, Amazon Fire TV, and you can actually find WNTV. And when you do that, you can find College Sportscast. We're channel 30.
No doubt, no doubt.
That's pretty cool, right?
Man, that's
Streaming
real
TV.
cool.
So we are on that. You can also check us out on Linktree. I'm going to try to get that up on here for you guys. Do our Linktree page. We have a Linktree account, and everything we do is on the Linktree page. You can find our merch shop. You can find our True Victory shop. You can find my Twitter account. You can find our Instagram page. You can find our TikTok page. You can find our YouTube page to subscribe to. You can find our Apple, our Spotify. We have it all, guys. So we're on video. We also do audio on Apple and Spotify and all kinds of other ones that are out there. And you can find everything that we do at our Linktree College Sportscast page. I do have that up on the screen for you now. Got some exciting stuff going on. You can get some merch now from us. Pretty soon, we're going to be kind of advertising some ad spaces, and we will mention you on our shows. You can do that for $450, and that's $450 for the entire year, and do an ad space for us. And we will put you on the Fanboys website page, the Grenville Sports Media website page as well, for $450, and we will talk and mention you on each and every episode, and give you a shout out as a sponsor of College Sportscast. Again, you can do a whole year for $450, and we would appreciate getting that word out as well. And then I'll talk about our home for our troops here. I got so much stuff on here, I have to scroll. I do. I ain't kidding. All right. So Home for Our Troops is our 2023 nonprofit organization that we're asking people to give to this year. We're doing that for the Fanboys. And then I thought and apparently it went back to the Linktree page. One of these days it's going to get right. All right, Home for Our Troops. So again, it's our 23 nonprofit organization we're asking you to give to. What they do is they build homes for wounded and injured vets. So they are rebuilding their lives for them, and they will build them a home anywhere in the U.S. So if they're from Alaska and want to move to the 48, they will build them a home over here anywhere they want. And they've been doing this for over 20 plus years. For every dollar that you give, over 90 cents of that dollar goes towards building homes for these vets. So we ask that you go to www.hfotusa.org.
There you go. There you go. Hey, it's okay. You got it right. Got a little tongue. Got stuck on the tip of your tongue. I know how that goes.
Yeah, I got a little tongue tied on that one there. Yeah, absolutely. All right, man. Is there any closing thoughts that you have, or anything that you wanted to bring up or talk about?
I know we're a college sports podcast, but I want to shout out the Denver Nuggets for making the first ever, winning the first ever Western Conference Finals and stamping that ticket into the NBA Finals. And
It's a tough one for me. I'm a Laker fan,
I
but
understand, but
I am.
Denver was just a better team. I
They
think that
were.
if the Lakers could have
Listen,
stole 2 games,
all these people have been upset and everything else. Listen, the Lakers made it way further than I thought they were going to make it. In late February, I didn't even know if they were going to make the play-in game and be in the top 10.
2-10, 2-10 to the
Yeah.
Western Conference Finals. I mean, listen, you can't win them all. They exerted more
And
energy.
yes, they got beat 4-0, but they lost 4 games late in the fourth quarter, 3 of them by less than 6 points. One of them was pushed out to a 10 or 11 point win,
Yeah,
but they were in that game as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, you know,
You know,
had a shot the last 2 games at home
can't.
and
Hey,
just,
can't. That's
you
why I
know,
said shouts out to Denver Nuggets. That franchise has been around for a while, and to me, it's good to see somebody else other than them.
congrats to the Joker and Jamal Murray.
Two-headed monster, well put together team.
I mean, they got many, many other players, but I'm telling you, those 2 cats right there are some
Shout
ballers.
out to Jamal Murray too, man, for coming back from a gruesome injury that he suffered, and then coming on the other side of it, man, better than ever, getting back to himself. It just shows, and I hope kids see that sometimes when things don't go your way, sometimes you just gotta shut up and work.
I found this on the web.
You gotta shut up and work. You just gotta shut up and work, and trust the process. And that's all he had to do. In the world in which
And he took the time needed to get healthy too. A lot of people thought he should have been back earlier,
yeah,
and he didn't.
yeah,
He stayed out a lot longer than people thought. Well, he should be back by now.
yeah,
And
yeah,
he was getting a lot of questions
yeah,
about why he wasn't playing
yeah, yeah.
and all kinds of stuff because he stayed out longer than what most people stay out
No
nowadays. I
doubt,
mean,
no doubt.
10, 15 years ago, to stay out a year when you blow out like he did was kind of common. Nowadays, a lot of these cats are back. A lot of these guys are back in 6, 8 months.
But it takes a full year to get
But
back.
Jamal Murray didn't do that.
He took his time. He did
He
right.
took,
He had an organization
yep,
that believed in him, and when
yep.
you have a guy of that caliber, you can't just go draft another Jamal Murray. Then you had all the pieces around Caldwell Pope, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., then the bench, so. And then when you got Joker is arguably the best player in the league the last 3 years. You can argue
Man,
that.
he shoots and makes some of the
Toughest shots.
crazy toughest.
Now those two threes, he hit.
He literally keeps the ball back behind his head and shoots it. Like, how does he do that, man? I played ball a long time. You played ball in college,
Tough.
Division I,
Tough.
Mississippi. I mean, can you shoot like that, man? That is a tough shot. And he's knocking it down right in the face of AD.
Tough. Those 2 shots made, and when AD fouled Jamal Murray on the switch, those 9 points cost LA the game. Cost them the
Because
game.
I'm telling you, they lost 3 games by 6 points or less.
Yeah, they should have won. It should have been at least. It should be at least 3-1.
Maybe 2-2, but at least 3-1.
At least 3-1. And like I said, it could easily been 2-2. Like you said,
Yep.
So it's one of those deals.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
So